My girlfriend posted a TikTok calling me her practice husband while I was manning the grill at our family barbecue. I, 32M, had been dating Alexis, 29F, for 3 years. I thought we were perfect together. We rarely fought, had similar interests, and were on the same page about most major life decisions. Marriage and kids were topics we discussed seriously, and I believed we were in sync. I loved her family, and I thought they loved me back. Her sister, Mad, 27F, was probably the closest to me. We had a great connection, shared the same dry sense of humor, and she often joked that I was the brother she never had. Alexis and I had been living together for almost 2 years, in a house I bought right before we met. I had saved for years to afford it, working overtime and sacrificing vacations to build equity instead of throwing money away on rent. I was proud of my little 3-bedroom ranch-style house in a quiet suburb. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine, and I'd poured my heart into making it a place where we could build a life together. I'm a civil engineer, which means I'm practical to the core and plan everything meticulously. Alexis works in social media marketing, managing accounts for local businesses. She's creative, spontaneous, and honestly, a bit more image-conscious than I am. She's always had a decent following on Instagram and TikTok, posting content about her lifestyle and relationship stuff, but I never paid much attention. That was her world, and I was happy to stay out of frame. Our relationship wasn't perfect, whose is? But I genuinely believed we were solid. I'd been planning to propose for months. I'd saved up for a ring that cost me 3 months' salary and was just waiting for the right moment. I decided our annual family barbecue at my parents' house would be perfect. Both families would be there. The setting was beautiful, and it felt like the right place to propose somewhere filled with so much love and history. It was a beautiful Saturday in June. My parents' backyard was strung with fairy lights, the weather was perfect, and about 30 of our closest people were gathered for our annual summer barbecue. As is tradition, I was in charge of the grill, cooking burgers and steaks for everyone. Every few minutes, I felt the ring box in my pocket, making sure it was still there, rehearsing what I would say when I got down on one knee later that evening. Alexis was flitting between groups, laughing and talking with everyone. She seemed happy, which made me happy. I noticed she was on her phone a lot, but that wasn't unusual. She was always posting stories and checking her feeds. I didn't think anything of it. My cousin, Jay, came over to the grill to grab a beer from the cooler and hang out with me for a bit. "Hey, have you seen Alexis's latest TikTok?" he asked, looking uncomfortable. "No." Why would he hesitate? "Maybe you should take a look." I dismissed it at first, focused on not burning the food, but something in his tone made me uneasy. About 15 minutes later, I handed over grill duty to my dad and pulled out my phone. I rarely use TikTok, but I had the app so I could occasionally see what Alexis was posting. I opened it and went to her profile. The most recent video had been posted 45 minutes ago and already had hundreds of comments. The video showed Alexis with a group of her girlfriends doing some dance trend I didn't recognize, but it was the caption that felt like a punch to the gut. "Girls' Day while my practice husband mans the grill #mine #practice relationship #my first marriage." I stood there frozen, scrolling through the comments, giving off major test drive vibes. First husband syndrome, LMFAO girl, better upgrade for husband number 2, at least you're honest about it. Her friends from the video chimed in on the comments, adding fuel to the fire. The starter husband doesn't even know he's training wheels before the real deal. Imagine thinking you're the endgame when you're just the tutorial skull. I felt sick. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. I looked up and scanned the yard until I found Alexis. She was sitting with her 2 best friends, the same ones from the video, all laughing and looking at their phones. She didn't even realize I'd seen it. In that moment, everything I thought I knew about our relationship crumbled. 3 years of memories flashed through my mind, but now they were tinged with doubt. Was I really just a stepping stone for her? A practice round before she found someone better? I looked at our families mingling, laughing, enjoying themselves. My mom was showing Alexis's mom pictures from our last vacation. My dad and her dad were having a friendly argument about sports. Everyone thought we were this perfect couple, heading towards marriage. Everyone except Alexis, apparently. I reached into my pocket and felt the velvet box. I'd spent months picking out the perfect diamond. It was set in a custom design she'd once pointed out in a magazine. I was planning to propose during the sunset, with both families present. I had a whole speech prepared about building a life together. What a joke! I set down the tongs, wiped my hands on a towel, and placed the ring box on the small table next to the grill. I didn't say a word to anyone. I just walked to my car, got in, and drove away. My phone started buzzing about 10 minutes later, but I turned it off. I needed to think. I checked into a hotel that night. I couldn't face going back to our house, knowing she might be there. The next morning, I turned my phone on to find 27 missed calls and dozens of texts. Most were from Alexis. Where did you go? Why did you leave without saying anything? Please call me. I'm worried about you. Seriously, are you this upset over a stupid TikTok? It was just a joke. You're overreacting. Everyone is asking where you went. You're embarrassing me. That last one was the final straw. She was embarrassing me? There were also messages from my parents and a few close friends asking if I was okay, and one from Maddie, Alexis's sister. I saw the video. I'm so sorry, Ryan. That was cruel, and you didn't deserve it. Let me know if you need anything. I only replied to my parents and Mad, letting them know I was safe but needed some time alone. To Alexis, I sent a single message. I'm going to get some of my things tomorrow at 2. Please make sure you're not there. She replied immediately, Are you serious? You're moving out over a joke, Brian? You're blowing this way out of proportion. We need to talk about this face to face. You can't just throw away 3 years over something this stupid. I didn't respond. What was there to say? In a careless moment, she'd revealed how she really felt about me, about us. Or maybe it wasn't careless at all. Maybe she wanted me to see it. The following day, I went to the house when I knew she'd be at work. I packed enough clothes for a week, my laptop, and some essential documents. On my way out, I noticed a framed photo of us from a vacation to Maine last year. We looked so happy, so in love. I placed it face down on the table and left. I extended my hotel stay and started looking for a short-term rental. I needed space to figure out what to do next. My boss was understanding when I requested a week off, and I spent most of that time driving, hiking in nearby state parks, and trying to clear my head. Alexis continued to bombard my phone. Her messages oscillated between anger and pleading. You're acting like a child. Please come home so we can talk about this. I miss you. I can't believe you're doing this to me. It was a joke. Why are you punishing me like this? After a few days, her sister Maddie reached out again. Hey, I know you probably don't want to hear about Alexis right now, but I thought you should know she's been telling everyone you're just throwing a tantrum and that we'll be back together soon. She's not taking this seriously. Just wanted to give you a heads up. That was the push I needed. I called a real estate lawyer that same day and made an appointment to discuss my options. Given that the house was solely in my name and we weren't married, I had the right to ask her to move out. The lawyer drafted a formal notice, giving her 30 days to vacate the premises, as required by law. I decided to deliver it in person. I wanted to see her face when she realized this wasn't a tantrum. This was me taking back control of my life. When I arrived at the house, Alexis's car was in the driveway, along with another one I didn't recognize. I knocked on my own front door, feeling like a stranger. Alexis opened it. Her expression quickly shifted from surprise to relief. Brian. Finally. I was so worried. She reached out to hug me, but I stepped back and offered her the envelope. What's this? She asked, her smile faltering. Notice to vacate the premises. 30 days. Her face crumpled. You can't be serious. I've never. Are you throwing away everything we built over a stupid TikTok? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. A joke? Is that what you think it was? Because it sounded pretty accurate to me. Your practice husband. The test run. Were you planning on telling me that's how you saw me, or was I supposed to find out post-divorce? Ryan, come on. It was just content for my followers. It didn't mean anything. If it didn't mean anything, why did you say it? Why humiliate me in front of everyone we know? Before she could answer, a woman appeared behind her, one of the friends from the video. She looked between us uncomfortably. Should I go? She asked Alexis. No, stay, I said. I'm just dropping this off. I'll be sending movers for the rest of my things next week. Anything that's jointly owned, we can discuss through my lawyer. Alexis's expression hardened. You're hiring a lawyer? Are you kidding me? I'm not discussing this anymore. You have 30 days. I turned to leave. Ryan, wait. She grabbed my arm. It was a stupid mistake. I wasn't thinking. Please, let's talk about this. I gently removed her hand. There's nothing to talk about. You showed me who you really are, and I believe you. What about the ring? She blurted out. My mom said there was a ring box by the grill. Were you going to propose? The pain in her voice almost got to me. Almost, yes, I said quietly. Funny how things work out, isn't it? I walked away as she called after me, her voice breaking. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done, but I didn't look back. I found a month-to-month furnished apartment about 20 minutes from my office and moved in the following day. I hired movers to pack up most of my belongings from the house, leaving behind only the furniture and kitchen items that Alexis would need until she found her own place. The news traveled fast in our social circle. My phone was flooded with messages from mutual friends. Most took her side. Don't you think you're overreacting? Everyone says stupid things on social media. She's devastated, man. It was just a joke that went wrong. A few, however, understood. I saw that video before she deleted it. You deserve better. No one should talk about their partner like that. If she said it publicly, imagine what she says privately. My parents were firmly on my side. My mom came over to help me organize my new apartment, bringing home-cooked meals and trying not to cry when she thought I wasn't looking. My dad, a man of few words, just clapped me on the shoulder and said, "You did the right thing, son. Don't second-guess yourself." Alexis's family was more divided. Her parents reached out to express their shock and disappointment, though it wasn't clear whether the disappointment was directed at her or me. Her brother, who I'd never been particularly close with, sent me a terse message saying I should have talked things out like an adult instead of running away. Mad, however, continued to be my unexpected ally. She texted me regularly with updates. Alexis finally moved most of her stuff to a friend's house. Mom and Dad had a long talk with her about respect and relationships. She deleted all her social media accounts after the backlash. It turns out that after I left, someone at the barbecue, I suspect my cousin Jake, commented on her TikTok something like, "You know he was going to propose tonight, right?" The comment went viral, and suddenly Alexis was facing a wave of criticism from internet strangers. She deleted the video within hours, but screenshots had already been taken and shared widely. I didn't feel any pleasure in her public humiliation. Despite everything, I had loved her deeply, and a part of me still cared about her well-being. But I couldn't. I wouldn't be her practice husband. 2 weeks after I moved out, I was starting to find my footing again. I threw myself into work, picked up old hobbies I'd neglected, and even joined a rock climbing gym to burn off some extra energy. I wasn't anywhere close to being ready to date again, but I was slowly rebuilding my sense of self. That's when Maddie texted me. She cries every time someone mentions your name, and she's begging for you to come back. I'm worried about her, Ryan. She's not eating, barely sleeping. She says she didn't mean any of it and would do anything to fix it. It was the first time I felt my resolve waver. I still loved Alexis despite everything. The thought of her suffering tore me apart. But then I remembered the comments from her friends, the cruelty, the public humiliation. If I went back now, what would that say about my self-worth? I replied to Maddie, I'm sorry she's hurting. I am too. But I can't be with someone who sees me as something temporary. Maddie replied, I understand. For what it's worth, I think she really does regret it. She told me she only said those things because her friends were pressuring her to create more authentic content about relationship doubts. Apparently, she gets more engagement that way. Not that that excuses it. That made me even angrier. She traded our relationship for likes and comments. But I kept that to myself and simply thanked Mad for letting me know. The next day, a package arrived at my apartment. Inside was the ring box I'd left at the barbecue, along with a handwritten letter from Alexis. I almost threw it away unopened, but curiosity got the better of me. The letter was tear-stained and several pages long. She explained that her friends had been pressuring her to create more relatable content about relationship problems, that she'd felt insecure because so many of her friends were getting engaged or married, that she'd said those things to seem cool and detached but hadn't meant any of it. She swore she'd never seen me as something temporary or practice, that she wanted to marry me more than anything, that she'd ruined the best thing in her life for fleeting validation on the internet. It was a good letter. A heartfelt letter. If I'd received it a week earlier, maybe it would have convinced me. But something about it still felt wrong. There was too much focus on her feelings, her pain, her regrets. Too little acknowledgement of how deeply she'd hurt me. I tucked the letter away in a drawer and tried to forget about it. 3 days later, my doorbell rang around 8 p.m. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, Alexis was standing there, red-eyed from crying, holding a small gift bag. Please don't close the door, she said quickly. I just need 5 minutes. Then I'll leave you alone forever if that's what you want. Against my better judgment, I let her in. She looked terrible, unwashed hair, wearing sweats, dark circles under her eyes. Despite everything, my heart ached to see her like this. What do you want, Alexis? She handed me the gift bag. I wanted to give you this and apologize in person. Inside the bag was a framed collage of pictures of us, along with screenshots of all her social media accounts being permanently deleted. I'm done with all of it, she said. The constant posting, the performing for strangers, it all cost me the only thing that really mattered. She started to cry again, and I had to fight the urge to comfort her. What I said was unforgivable, she continued. I know. I can't even explain why I did it because it makes no sense. You were never my practice anything. You were the love of my life. The only person I ever imagined growing old with. She took a deep breath. I'm not asking you to take me back. I don't deserve it. I just needed you to know that I will regret what I did for the rest of my life, and that you were always more than enough. She turned to leave, but paused at the door. Oh, and I signed the house completely over to you. My name was never on the deed, but I had my lawyer draw up paperwork confirming that I have no claim to any part of it. It was always your dream house. I wouldn't take that away from you. With that, she was gone. I stood in my apartment, holding the collage, feeling utterly lost. The indecision. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying our relationship in my mind, trying to see if there were signs I'd missed. Did she always see me as something temporary? Was the TikTok just a lapse in judgment, or a glimpse into her true feelings? I called the one person I knew would give me honest advice, my older sister, Kate. After explaining everything, I asked her what she thought I should do. Do you still love her? Kate asked. Yes, I admitted. But I don't know if I can ever trust her again. Trust can be rebuilt, she said carefully. But only if both people are committed to doing the work. The question is, do you want to try? I didn't have an answer. The next day, I got another message from Maddie. Alexis just accepted a job offer in Seattle. She's moving next month. She says she can't stay here with all the memories. Thought you should know. Seattle. Across the country. The finality of it hit me hard. This wasn't a temporary break. This was the end of us. And despite all my anger and hurt, I wasn't sure I was ready for that. I spent the next few days in a kind of haze, going through the motions at work, coming back to my empty apartment, staring at the collage Alexis had given me. On Friday night, I found myself driving to our favorite restaurant, a small Italian place where we had our first date. I sat at our usual table, ordered our usual bottle of wine, and tried to imagine my life without her. As I was leaving, I ran into Alexis's boss, Monica. She greeted me warmly, then looked confused. I thought you'd be at home celebrating with Alexis, she said. Celebrating what? Her promotion. We finally gave her that senior position she's been after. More money, more creative control. She's been working towards it for months. My blood ran cold. When did she get this promotion? Monica thought for a moment. The offer was official about a month ago, but you've known it was coming since spring. Didn't she tell you? A month ago. Before the barbecue. Before the TikTok. Before she ruined everything. I thanked Monica and quickly left. My mind raced on the drive home. The pieces started to fall into place. The promotion Alexis had supposedly been going after would keep her here. It wouldn't send her to Seattle. She'd lied to her sister about moving, knowing Maddie would tell me. It was pure manipulation. When I got home, I looked up Alexis on Instagram using a friend's account. Her profiles hadn't been deleted at all. They'd just been set to private. The screenshots she'd given me were fake. Another lie. I felt a strange sense of calm wash over me. All the uncertainty vanished. I knew exactly what I had to do. The next morning, I called Mad and asked her to meet me for coffee. She seemed nervous when she arrived, avoiding eye contact. Did you know? I asked, without preamble. She looked down at her hands. Know what? That Alexis isn't moving to Seattle? That her social media accounts aren't really deleted? That this whole devastated act is just that, an act. Mad's face crumpled. I'm so sorry, Ryan. She's my sister. She begged me to help her. She said she'd made a terrible mistake and just needed a chance to explain. I didn't know about the fake screenshots or the Seattle lie until afterward. I wasn't even angry anymore. Just tired. Why are you telling me this now? Why not keep playing along? Because you deserve better, she said simply. And because I realized I was helping her manipulate you, which makes me just as bad. I thanked her for her honesty and left. On the way home, I made a short call to Alexis. I know about the promotion. I know about the fake screenshots. I know about Seattle. Don't contact me again. I blocked her number before she could respond. That afternoon, I hired a contractor to begin renovations on my house. New paint, new floors, a complete kitchen remodel, the one Alexis had always criticized. I erased every trace of her from my home and my life. I returned the engagement ring and used the money to book a solo trip to Europe, something I'd always wanted to do, but had put off because Alexis wasn't interested. I spent 3 weeks hiking in the Alps, eating my way through Italy and rediscovering myself outside of our relationship. When I returned, tanned and more at peace than I'd been in months, there was one final letter from Alexis waiting for me. Unlike the others, this one was filled with anger and blame. You were cold and heartless. You humiliated me by walking out of the barbecue. You never really loved me if you could walk away so easily. I'm better off without you and your fragile male ego. I laughed as I read it, relieved to finally see her true colors without the filter of my love. I shredded the letter without replying and moved on with my life. It's been almost exactly a year since the barbecue incident. I'm still in my house, now beautifully renovated to my taste. I've been promoted at work, expanded my social circle, and even started casually dating again, though nothing serious yet. Alexis did move after all, though to Chicago, not Seattle, according to Maddie, with whom I'm still friendly. Alexis is dating someone new, a guy with a massive social media following who frequently features in her posts. She seems happy, and I honestly hope she is. As for me, I learned a valuable lesson about seeing people for who they really are, not who you want them to be. I ignored warning signs because I was in love, because I had a plan, because I thought I knew what our future held. Sometimes the most painful lessons are the most important. I'm grateful that I found out what Alexis truly thought of me before I put that ring on her finger, before we had a mortgage together, before we had kids. The pain of our breakup, as awful as it was, pales in comparison to what a divorce would have been. Last week, I was cleaning out my home office and found the gift bag Alexis had given me with the collage of photos. I'd shoved it in a drawer and forgotten about it. I looked at our smiling faces, at the memories of a relationship I once thought was perfect, and I felt nothing but gratitude. Not for the relationship, but for its end. I tossed the collage and went outside to grill in my newly landscaped backyard, a cold beer in hand, at peace with my decision and excited for what comes next.